Were you angry when your passion cost you your limbs? What was the emotional state of mind that you went through immediately after that? And how did you pull yourself back if it was bad?
We were in a very unique situation. I spent 13 and a half days in an ice cave as a search and rescue mountaineer, watching my feet freeze, knowing that I had to make a choice to have frostbite and not hypothermia, knowing that there would be a consequence. You go into hospital, you spend 3 weeks watching your feet rot. And so it's incremental. And so the anger never really came, because you were going through the grieving stage by stage, piece by piece. Every now and then perhaps it surfaces. It's like, why did I do that? Well, actually, I know why. Because I love the mountains, I love climbing, and that's the consequence of achievement.
When I work with professional athletes and they go through a potentially career-ending injury, I can pretty much guarantee them that you're going to come out of this a better person, because everything else that you perceived as a problem is no more going to be a problem in relation to this. Was it the same for you?
Yeah, it's many people ask, am I a different person? If you ask my old climbing friends, no, he's still Mark. Well, yeah. But what I've been given is a different opportunity. There's an opportunity to express myself in a different way, and hopefully that's what everyone gets. Hopefully I am a better person because I've seen difficult times. And when you see difficult times, you hopefully learn from them, and people see a smiling face.
Yeah.
But behind the smile, sometimes there's a lot of pain, a lot of soul searching going on. But out of it, every time comes a stronger you.
Mark, your purpose before the incident would have been to probably in love with the mountains, saving lives of that mountains. I'm sure through this whole journey, you found a new life purpose now. How do you want this entire incident, how has it motivated you to give back to the world, or what is the message that you want to take forward?
You said before there's over 400 million disabled in the world.
Yeah.
We can change that one person at a time. We can change it with attitude as much as resources. Money always goes into resources. Well, actually, my vision is to try and change it with the change in attitude. It's attitude of the community, but it's attitude of the disabled as well. They need to empower themselves, and they need to stand up and challenge the community. I believe it's a role that I have taken on to try and attempt to do that.
Talking about our attitude, as a human race, we're killing the planet. Are you seeing a direct effect of that on the mountains when you're spending some time there?
It brings me to tears to see the changes in our alpine environment. When people say, global warming, I don't care who's caused global warming, but it's happening, and it's happening at a far faster rate. I used to be able to walk out onto a glacier in New Zealand. I now have to climb down 200 metres to walk out onto that glacier. It's lost 1/3 of its depth. There are climbs in New Zealand, first ascents that I have done, that no one will ever do again because there's no ice on those routes. It's a really obvious change that's happening. And so let's find out, are we just a pawn or are we a causative? And I think we're a mixture of both. So we need to do our best to do something about it. But it's also understand we need to be proactive, we need to plan. Everyone sits back and thinks, not in my lifetime. Well, actually think of your children and your grandchildren.
Yeah. If looking back where you are right now, if you had to give some piece of advice to a 21-year-old who was fully able, to the 21-year-old Mark, what would you say to him?
Always take a cooker when you're climbing, because that means you get water, and then I would have kept my legs.
Okay, fair enough.
The hardest thing you can do as a 21-year-old is take advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Perhaps I should have taken more advice. But we need to learn. When I look back and I see it, it's like, oh, do I have regrets? Everyone has regrets. But just don't let them hold you back. You know? Regrets are the gravity that stops the momentum of life. So cut them, let them go, and move on.
Yeah. And most of the world right now are corporate executives who are working in a business world. I believe there's such strong parallels between sport, mountaineering, nature, and the challenges that they face or they may think they face. What's your lessons for them?
I always take it so I take an equal amount of my mountaineering back into my business life, and learnings from my business life back into mountaineering. But the one thing that links them both is true collaboration, and it's something that people talk about, but when it comes down to it, they just don't do it.
Yeah.
And so on a mountain, if you don't do it, it might kill you. In the business life, you just miss an opportunity. Yeah. And so it's the true understanding of collaboration. That's, for me, is one of the most empowering things that you can have.
Yeah. Someone told me there was a study that said 80% of CEOs are happy with the planning in their company. Only 20% are happy with the execution. And we can't afford that statistic on a mountain.
No.
You would die.
No. It's, it's a very hard taskmaster.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. When I sit down with some of my cricketing friends, you know, we talk about a team. I'm going, no, you guys haven't got a team.
Yeah.
Okay. If you tie the batsman to all of the all of the fielders or all of the bowlers, or you know, you tie everyone together, then you've got a team. You know, when you can run independently, come on, that's not a team.
Yeah.
And it's I've been privileged to be in an environment where you're actually tied to someone. You have to have such total faith in them that they have to do things right and you have to do things right. Otherwise, you might die.
Yeah.
So it's that helps bring a real focus.
That's so true. Mountaineering for me is probably the best definition of excellence, because there's a book called Scaling Up Excellence by Professor Huggy Rao from Stanford, where he says that excellence is not one person going 1,000 steps forward. It's 1,000 people going one step forward. And that's what mountaineering is, isn't it? We all are taking one step in synchronization.
Because everyone goes, they look at the scale of it, you know. They look at the scale of Everest or Mount Cook, and they go, how could you do that? One step at a time.
One step at
a time.
So now you still go back onto the mountains? You look forward to it?
I love the mountains. I live in the mountains. I take trips back to Nepal every year, and we climb some of the 5,500 to 6,000 meter peaks because I love to show people the mountains. You know, I love to interpret my world for people so they can see it through my eyes. And the best place to do that is in the mountains. But it's also the beautiful people that you meet there.
Yeah.
One of the most amazing things about mountaineering is the people you meet.
Yeah.
There are not many idiots mountaineering.
No.
Not many.
They're extremely smart. I remember when I climbed Kili, the personality of these Sherpas or guides on the mountain versus off is chalk and cheese. When they come they're such vibrant personalities on the mountain. You know, they chirp, they sing, they know their way around that ecosystem. And they come into and they feel alien when they're in town. You know, home is actually on the mountain.
Whenever you walk through an airport, be it Singapore or somewhere that's a hub for people going to and from, you can always see the mountaineers. Yeah, it's the more you move them from the mountains, the less comfortable that they are. Yeah.
Super. So Mark, last question from me is, what would be your one piece of advice in your journey for all of us, whether we want to venture up a mountain or whether we want to just summit some of our own challenges?
I think it's the one thing that I've seen is that when you look out into the world, you need to make sure that the window that you look out from is as wide as possible. because in so many cases, the window that we look out into the world can actually be very narrow. I deal with especially some youth who perhaps have never been out of their suburb. Youth that have never been more than perhaps 4 blocks from where they were born.
Yeah.
And so to try and explain what it's like to stand on top of a mountain is a challenge. And so the most empowering thing we can all do is to make sure our window is as wide as possible. Open the window as well, and it gives people an appreciation of everyone else.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Mark.
My pleasure.